What's good, YouTube? About to do an audit the audit video. We're about to react to one of his videos. Let's get right
Welcome
into
to
it.
Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers traffic laws, judicial misconduct, and disciplinary hearings, and was originally posted by the Civil Rights Lawyers channel, but was also featured on Lackluster's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On July 11th, 2021, Officer Deavante Johnson of the Moorfield Police Department in West Virginia initiated a traffic stop on Hardy County Circuit Judge C. Carter Williams for operating his vehicle with a cell phone in his hand. Judge Williams pulled over, and Officer Johnson stopped his cruiser and began to walk towards the driver's side window.
What's the problem?
How you doing, sir? The reason I'm stopping you,
Judge Williams.
Judge.
And I don't. Why did you stop me?
Yeah,
Damn. He didn't even say how you doing and nothing. Why did you stop me? I get you a judge, but dang, at least let the cop do his job. Obviously, he don't know you're a judge just by driving down the road, dude. Like, relax, Lord.
your cell phone in your hand.
I had my phone like this.
Yeah.
I just lost it. I was just
Okay.
looking for it. Pulled it up like this. Was not
Okay.
on it. I just looked in the car. Go up and look.
Okay, why are you screaming at me?
That makes no
Sir,
sense.
You have your license,
doing
registration, proof of
anything.
insurance? You have your license, registration, proof of insurance?
I wasn't doing anything
Okay.
wrong.
You have your license, registration,
I'm
proof
not
of
going to
insurance?
give you my license and registration.
You
I
were
wasn't
doing something wrong. You
anything-
cannot have a
I had
handheld.
my phone just like this. I was
That
not
is-
on my
you-
phone.
And what state was?
Yo, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, do they understand they are upheld to a higher standard? Like, just relax, take a breather. Like, you're acting like this, but the same thing that happened to a normal citizen, and he's fighting for his rights, and then he go up against you. You're the judge, and you'll be like, "Why would you acting like? Why would you be uncooperative towards a police officer?" That's what he would say in his courtroom. He won't be understanding to the citizen, but he's doing the same goddamn thing. He's actually worse, if you ask me. I don't think anyone will be this high right off bat. They would at least be like, "Officer, what have I done?" And then the officer usually say it, but he's not even letting the officer get anything off. Bro, just give him your license, bro.
You cannot have a handheld cell phone.
I drive by a lot of times, and y'all are on yours. You're never on yours, right?
Okay, I don't understand
You're
why you're
never
yelling
on
at me.
yours.
Why are you yelling at me, sir?
I said you're never on
Why are
yours.
you yelling at me?
I'm not.
You
I'm
have
not yelling
information.
at you.
Yes, you have been. I've never raised my
Let me
voice
tell
at
you
you.
something. You all are on yours. I was not
If you read
talking
the code,
on
the
mine.
code says that if we're
Here.
conducting official business, you can be on it.
All I can say, he's doing way too much. Just take it back from just forget that he's a judge for a second. The way he's moving right now is suspicious. The way he went in the glove box, the way he's going into his pockets, he's doing too much. I would never do that. I would never reach into my pocket while an officer is at my window. I would tell him that I'm trying to reach into my pocket. I won't just go aggressively into my pocket. Honestly, I think that if the cop tased him right now, he might have an excuse because he's being agitated. He's being agitated over the smallest questions. He's moving around a lot. His blinker's going off. Honestly, to me, if I didn't know he was a judge, I'd be like, this man's on drugs. He's on some type of pills, oxy, adrenaline. Like I don't know the drugs, man. He's on something. But I won't think something's okay with this situation right now. He's being too sporadic.
I just don't know why you're
No,
yelling
no,
at me.
no, not on official business.
Okay.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Why are you so uptight? Why are you so shaky? What's going on?
No
I'm
facts.
irritated because you pulled me over for
Damn.
no reason.
You had your cell phone in your hand.
I picked up my cell phone because I had it lost.
Okay.
I pulled
You
it
can't-
up here, and I had my hand on it here
Okay.
to put it in here.
You know.
How would a cop know that you're doing all that? If he sees you having your phone in your hand on the steering wheel, he obviously gonna think you're driving and texting, you idiot. Aren't you a judge? Can't you just see his point of view? Aren't y'all supposed to be on the same side? You up there arguing with the motherfucker about this? Yo, relax.
You know the
what you
law,
saw.
though. You know the law.
I'll
So
stop
what?
pausing it.
What if I
This
have a
man
cup in
wild.
my hand?
You can't have a cell phone in the state of West Virginia in your hand.
Give me a ticket. It's ridiculous what you're doing.
How is it ridiculous
Doing his job?
ridiculous.
that you had your cell phone in your
Because
hand?
you all have yours. I've seen it many times. Y'all have yours, and you don't get pulled over.
Officer Johnson informs Judge Williams that he pulled him over because he had his cell phone in his hand while he was driving, and Judge Williams claimed he was just holding it and not using it. Under Section 17C-14-15 of the West Virginia Code, quote, a person may not...
Hold on. Now, watch Audit the Audit. You will learn a lot about the law in a lot of different states. I've been watching this guy for years at this point, and it feels like I know so much of the law just from, he will start breaking it down for you, start giving you actual law codes from the actual books of law, and read the definition of every law and how does it differ from state to state and stuff like that. I would tell you to look up the laws in your state, especially traffic laws, because most of the time you're going to be pulled over. Something so simple could be so devastating in a different state. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's say littering. Let's just say littering. Let's be hypothetical here, because I know some warriors out there in the comments might say that I'm wrong, but this is hypothetical. If you throw something out the window, like litter, while you're driving, some states might be a fine or a ticket. You throw something out the window in another state, and you do it a certain type of way, you throw it 20 feet that way, and apparently the law is like if you throw litter 30 feet that way, you're going to like 30 days in jail. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's an extreme just for littering. Not the best example, but you get what I'm saying. Every state has different laws, and the penalty is different in every state. Like Florida got the death penalty, but most states don't have it. Let's continue.
Drive or operate a motor vehicle on a public street or highway while texting or using a cell phone or other electronic communications device unless the use is accomplished by hands-free equipment. The statute defines using a cell phone or other electronic communication device as, quote, holding in a person's hand or hands an electronic communication device while viewing or transmitting images or data, playing games, composing, sending, reading, viewing, accessing, browsing, transmitting, saving, or retrieving email, text messages, or other electronic data, or engaging in a call. Therefore, while a court would likely find that Officer Johnson had reasonable suspicion to pull Judge Williams over because he observed the cell phone in his hand, he could not be convicted for simply holding the phone unless he was actively using it. During his conversation with Officer Johnson, Judge Williams also complained multiple times about seeing police officers on their phones while driving, and Officer Johnson reminded him that the statute allowed officers to be on their phones for official business. It should be noted that Section 7...
Listen, I never knew that. I never knew cops are actually allowed to be on the... I know he said official business, but that's kind of hard to decipher what's official business and not when a cop is actually on the phone. But I never knew the cops are actually allowed to be on the phone while driving or speeding a squad car. I didn't know that.
17C...
You see, you learn something new, man. You got to watch these guys' video. You will start learning. Like, YouTube is a great place if you allow it to be a great place.
14-15 does include a specific exception to the restriction on cell phone use for law enforcement officers, quote, in the performance of their official duties. But the statute would still prohibit officers from using their phones for personal reasons while operating a vehicle.
I'm really irritated about this whole... Go ahead and give me a ticket.
But why are you being like this to me? I've never done nothing to you in my whole life.
You just pulled me over for no reason.
Because you had your cell phone in your hand.
Pulled me over for no reason.
You had your cell phone. Okay.
Lieutenant Mel.
Who and what does that come back to?
Hold on. Hello? Yes. No, I haven't even wrote it yet. I'm probably not going to write it.
What? Don't tell me this judge called somebody on him. Yup, I already know this judge did.
Oh my God.
That's corny.
Officer Johnson returns to his cruiser and discovers that Judge Williams' driver's license expired several months earlier. A few minutes later, Officer Johnson receives a call from Moorfield Police Lieutenant Melody Burrows, who was off duty at the time, because Judge Williams had called her about the traffic stop while Officer Johnson was running the license. According to Lieutenant Burrows, Judge Williams told her that, quote, your boy pulled me over for being on my cell phone, and I wasn't on my cell phone. Lieutenant Burrows informed Judge Williams that she would call Officer Johnson and instruct him not to write him a ticket. After finishing his phone call with Lieutenant Burrows,
I love body cameras so much. We got them. Why do the cops keep doing this for each other? Y'all can't do favors for each other no more. This is not the early 2000s. This is not the 90s or 80s. Y'all not getting away with this shit no more. We got a homeboy audit the audit out here catching y'all. So y'all need to stop.
Officer Johnson exits his cruiser and returned to Judge Williams' vehicle without writing any citations.
Hello.
Wow, look at him. He didn't even hang up. Who the f you think you are, man? Who do you think you are?
You can write me a ticket or not. I don't care. I'll take it up to town. We'll go to a trial, buddy. That's fine with me. And I tell you what, the next time I see any of you on the phone, I'm stopping right there and call the state police. Any of you.
Look at him.
This is how I had my phone. I reached down and got it under my seat. I pulled it up here and I was driving like this. I was not talking on it. You can look. You can look when you pull me over. See whether I was on my phone.
Why are you being like this?
I'm being it because I've seen this crap enough.
Oh my God, his arm is shaking so bad. This man is upset. This rocked his whole year right now. He is not okay. And this man's a judge. He has no type of patience. I thought I didn't have patience for people. This man got zero. Look at his eyes. He's ready for something. Jesus Christ.
And I'm tired
Here
of
you go.
it.
Here's your license, registration, proof of insurance.
Give it to me. Let me have my license now.
Also, you need to go get your license up to date because they're expired, okay?
What?
Next time I...
How
After
can
Officer
he drive
Johnson
away with
returned his
expired
license
driver's
and
license?
registration,
How?
Judge Williams quickly drove away. Shortly after the traffic
That's some
stop,
bullshit.
Judge Williams called Moorfield Police Chief Stephen Riggleman, who was
That's
also
some bull.
off duty, informing him that he, quote, just had words with one of your boys. According to Chief Riggleman, Judge Williams continued to become more agitated as the phone call continued. When Chief Riggleman told him not to call while he was at home, Judge Williams hung up. Later that evening, Judge Williams also called Moorfield's former police chief and then Lieutenant Burrows
calling
again
everyone,
before showing
but
up at the
he's
home of
wrong.
Moorfield Mayor Carol Zuber around 10 p.m. to complain to her about the
Holy
traffic stop.
shit.
While none of Judge Williams' actions were illegal, they may have violated the West Virginia Code of Judicial Conduct, which is a set of rules and ethical standards that judges must follow while in office.
That man
For
got
instance,
no
Rule
ethics at all.
1.2 states that, quote, a judge shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the independence, integrity, and impartiality of the judiciary,
That
and
went
shall
out the
avoid
window.
impropriety and the appearance of impropriety. And Rule 1.3 requires that, quote, a judge shall not abuse the prestige of judicial office to advance the personal or economic interests of the judge.
All right, so shouldn't he go to jail, technically speaking? If these are laws in the book of ethics for a judge, shouldn't he get some type of punishment? I know at the end of this video, we'll see if he does or not, but I feel like nothing's going to happen. That's what usually happens. They either never go to jail, they get suspended while paid, which is stupid, honestly, if you ask me. That's
Judge or others, or allow others to do so. The official comment to Rule 1.3 explains that, quote, it is improper for a judge to use or attempt to use his or her position to gain personal advantage or deferential treatment of any kind. For
That
example,
already
it would be
happened.
improper for a judge to allude to his or her judicial status to gain favorable treatment in encounters with traffic officials. Other standards of judicial conduct that Judge Williams may have violated include Rule 2.8b, which states that, quote, a judge shall be patient, dignified, and courteous to litigants, jurors, witnesses, lawyers, court staff, court officials, and others with whom the judge deals in an official capacity. And Rule 3.1, which prohibits judges from participating in
goes in on this,
extrajudicial
but
activities that
listen
will
to him, man.
interfere
You'll
with the
learn.
proper performance of the judge's judicial duties, will lead to frequent disqualification of the judge, would appear to a reasonable person to undermine the judge's independence, integrity, or impartiality, or would appear to a reasonable person to be coercive. Given the high standard of conduct that is required of judges, Judge Williams' aggressive behavior towards Officer Johnson, the use of demeaning terms to refer to
Oh,
Officer
God.
Johnson in the phone calls he made, and the apparent use of his judicial title to attempt to receive favorable treatment, as well as any traffic offenses he committed, could likely be considered violations of the Code of Judicial Conduct. On July 15, 2021, the West Virginia Judicial Investigation Commission, which was established by the Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia to govern the ethical conduct of judges, filed an extraordinary complaint against Judge Williams.
I'm glad
According
they
to
did.
Rule 2.7 of the West Virginia Rules of Judicial Disciplinary Procedure, the typical process for handling a complaint of
All right, he
potential
going in.
judicial
He going
misconduct
in.
allows the commission to determine whether probable cause exists to formally charge a judge with
Okay.
any violations of the Code of Judicial Conduct, including the specific rules we discussed earlier in this episode. The allegations stemmed from his conduct during the traffic stop and his subsequent behavior. As
Let's
well,
go to the ratings. He also rates
February 23rd,
He also rates the people that are in the incident. He either gives them an A to F grade on how they did usually.
2022, but the commission filed an additional formal statement of charges against Judge
they
Williams on
playing.
February 14th, and his hearing was postponed. The new charges stemmed from yet another incident where Judge Williams walked out of Walmart without paying for his merchandise on August 18th,
Who is this
2021.
guy?
Although Walmart sources reported that Judge Williams appeared to be distracted both times he allegedly left without paying for his items, the judge failed to report these incidents, which could
This
also
man
be
out
an
here
ethical
stealing,
violation.
boy.
As of the date of this episode, the charges against Judge Williams are still pending, and his hearing is scheduled for the summer of 2022. Overall, Officer Johnson gets an A for maintaining a calm and
I
professional
would've
demeanor
been-
throughout
I
the
would've
interaction,
cursed his ass
continuing to
out,
treat Judge
honestly.
Williams with respect in the face of verbal abuse, and attempting to write Judge Williams a ticket despite his attempts to use his judicial clout to avoid the consequences of his actions. While Officer Johnson ultimately did not issue a citation to Judge Williams, this was a direct order from Lieutenant Burrows, and Officer Johnson appeared to have the intention to cite Judge Williams before receiving Lieutenant
Yeah.
Burrows' phone
If
call.
he never
It
got the
is
phone call, he
difficult
would've
to
got that
fault
ticket.
Officer Johnson for following the orders of his superior rather than risking his career to cite a judge for a minor traffic infraction. And this encounter demonstrates the systematic limitations that are placed on officer discretion and how a single officer cannot change the culture of their department. I commend Officer Johnson for remaining calm and cordial despite Judge Williams' behavior and for making a legitimate attempt to impartially fulfill his duty as an officer. Judge Williams
Get a
gets
F.
an F for
Absolutely.
berating Officer Johnson for simply
Jesus.
doing his job, attempting to use his judicial position to gain favorable treatment, and engaging in a pattern of consistent disregard for traffic laws. As a preamble to the West Virginia Code of Judicial Conduct
Yep.
states, quote, an independent, fair...
Not listen to that again. Sorry, a long video, but see, like I agree with that. Like, I'm glad they try to get him out of there. You know what I mean? I'm glad they didn't just try to sweep it under the rug, because sometimes they don't even like do anything about nothing. They're just like, you know what? He's a judge. Let it be. Let it be. I wonder if he was still working while the charges are being pending, or did they suspend him? He probably said it in there, but I wasn't going to sit through all that. But I do encourage, when you do listen to this guy, to listen to everything that he has to say, every little part. I wasn't going to sit here and do it. That's all I got to say. But catch me in the next video. I'll be there. Team No Edits. Peace.